Welcome, I continue working in the submod for the Star Wars Imperial War Remake named Alliance Rebellion. In this submod I go to add many, if not all, the units from the Alliance Rebellion. But as you could watch in the previous videos, instead from remove all the units from the remake, I will use some of them as the Imperial Star Destroyer. At least this is the thing that I want to do. But the units from the remake, some of them, if not all, they have a lot less of hardpoints than the units in the Alliance Rebellion, and that it can be a problem fighting against the units from the Alliance Rebellion. The Imperial Star Destroyer Mark I from the Alliance Rebellion, it has more or less 50 hardpoints, when the same unit from the remake, it has less of 30. Even doing change, the remake ship will be weaker. Now the point, I have edited the hardpoints, the weapons, the mag, doing the ship similar to the Alliance Rebellion version, at least the most similar that I could do. The other option could be edit the ship from the remake, but I find it more difficult than other things. I believe that editing the code and testing it in battle, with that way I can do one thing very similar without lose the good points from the model. This is what we go to see in this battle. During this battle I discovered other theme from the Alliance Rebellion. The Imperial Star Destroyers and several other ships, they were weaker in some hard points as the shields and the engines. Now I have restored that, and probably I will date the Alliance Rebellion with that victory. Several engine lights from the fighters, things that you could see in the previous videos. I think that I can add these things in the Alliance Rebellion. I can work in both mods without problem. They are very similar and just I must work in them. Well, both ships, they have suffered similar damage. They have destroyed hardpoints from both ships between them. Instead from use the particle effects for the hardpoints destroyed from the remake, I use the particle effects from the Alliance Rebellion because with too much hardpoints there are many smoke. and it is more a problem than a solution. But the last effects from the Alliance Rebellion, they are not good for this. Of course, the Imperial Star Destroyer from the remake, it is much better. Even if I improve a lot the model from the Alliance Rebellion, it will be better than this. There are very few things that I can improve in the Alliance Rebellion models, at least in this model. One model that goes to be destroyed soon. Clearly the ship losing the battle, it is the model from the Alliance Rebellion. And the ship from the remake, it is winning. One another, it must be destroyed. And probably after this battle, you will think if the remake version is much better. Probably you will be happier, much happy. But I have recorded the same battle but with two versions from the Alliance Rebellion. We go to discover if one version from the Alliance Rebellion can destroy other version from the Alliance Rebellion. Will be the point here. finally one is more damage than the other. And clearly one can destroy to the same ship without too problem. And looking this, probably the version from the remake, it is correct. It can be worked against the other units from the Alliance Rebellion, or perhaps not. I must check it, the version from the remake, against one Imperial Star Destroyer Mark II without fighters. It will be another video. Because perhaps the remake version it is much better than it should be. Who knows? I am curious now. Well, anyway, thanks by watching the recording.